And so starting standing. And before we get all jiggy with it, walk around a little bit and pay attention to how your feet connect with the floor. Are you coming down evenly from heel and tracking all the way forward through the second toe? Or do the feet turn out and you come down across the ankle? And we develop a lot of habits, and our feet can tell us a lot about what these habits may be. Once you have gained some insight to that, then I invite you to stand. And without, again, paying too much attention, standing in a way that you would stand when you are just standing around. And is that, I'll turn sideways, maybe more weight forward, which begins to activate the red light reflex. Is it more weight in the back before I tumble over, where we may have the forward hip posture? Also notice if one foot just makes a little bit firmer imprint than the other, common when there is scoliosis. And while we may not have a diagnosis of scoliosis, this can be one of the first clues that we are favoring or listing to one side, which will tend to make that side tighter than the other side. So there can be many reasons why we bring the weight over to one foot. We may have had an injury of the foot, ankle, knee, hip that caused us to favor the other side. And once the injury had resolved itself, we are still favoring. So again, we're just gathering data, because what happens in the feet and in our legs directly affects the hips, the spine, the shoulders, and the neck. And tonight, the sequence that I've chosen is the one that deals with plantar fasciitis. And that is not just around the foot. So you will find that we're actually going to go through pretty much all the way up. So we start with our calf releases. So we will stand by the wall and walk back where you feel a little bit of a stretch in the back of the calves, but you're able to keep your heels down comfortably. And from here, with a straight body line, feet parallel, lifting the heels, lift the heels. And then I will count us down from the contracted calves, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Kick the heels out so that the big toes are touching. That's just the shy feet. And lift the heels again. And notice how this is different with the internally rotated thighs. Again, from 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. And then switch. Heels together, toes pointing out. Charlie Chaplin feet. Again, straight line as best as you can from shoulders to heels, and we lift up again. And how is this one different? 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Everything melts. And then we bring the feet parallel again. So we're bookending it from where we started. And lifting straight up. One more time. Contracting the calves to the degree that it is comfortable for you. And now I invite you to count yourself down this time. You may find that you want to go a little bit slower than the 12 that I counted to, or count to 12, but with a slower count. Notice, as always, are there any jumps and jitters? Is it a smooth and even release? Once the heels are down, let everything pull. And then walk the feet back and just stand. Stand and notice. Hey, Meg. How does it feel? Now from here, we'll do the hamstrings. And sometimes we do these on our backs, but today we'll do them standing. And that's what we need the block for. You don't need a block. You can stand on a stack of books. What the block does, it helps elevate our foot up. So when we release the leg down, we will be able to let it hang straight down. So I'll stand up with my left foot on the block, and I'll keep my hips even. So notice that you're not hanging out in your right hip. The left leg is just hanging down straight. And then the hamstring, it is your knee flexion. So we're going to bend it all the way up. Take the heel to the tush. Take the heel to the tush. And I'll count it down. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it hang, completely relaxed. And then step down off the block. There's a lot to ask of your standing leg. And just pause here for a moment. So standing, feeling. Notice the back of the legs, notice the low back. We're going to repeat it one more time. And as you stand on the block, again, making sure that the standing leg is not hanging out to the side, because you're really engaging the outer glutes to facilitate the holding. And it's very important that that stays activated. So one more time. So I'm stepping up. My right foot is on the block. My hips are parallel, not again hanging down. So again, we are strengthening the standing leg. And then bend up the knee. Take the heel as close to the tush as you can. You're going to have a look-see, and we'll count it down. Slowly lower down. 10, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. And then again, step off the block, pause, feel the imprint. The hamstrings, just like the quadricep on the front, they cross over two joints, the hip joint and the knee joint. It helps with extension at the hip and flexion of the knee. And a tight hamstring is often a cause for back pain. Let's take the block to the other side. Step on it. And standing again with an even pelvis. Knees side by side. Standing leg hip hugging in, and then bend the knee up behind. So keep everything neutral. Let's count it down. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. So you may be counting faster. Remember, no pain, no strain at all. We'll step down again. Give our standing leg a break. A little break. Notice the imprint of your feet. And let's do it one more time. Step up on the elevation, which can be a stack of books or a yoga block. Just enough where the leg can hang and dangle. Keeping a hip engaged and bend up. Again, bending up. And slowly, so knees are side by side. So we'll begin to release. 12, 9, 11, I can't count. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let it hang, let it hang. Allow that knee space to open up. And the release down along the low back. Step off the block, and stand again. And just notice if anything changed in the way you are standing from before. We sit down a lot right now, most of us still, and the hamstrings, because we keep that flexion in the knee, can get really tight. So no strap in sight, all released. Now come onto your back. So now we'll begin with our supine work. And as you come onto your back, let's do another little check-in in our sloppy shavasana. I got my mat covered with a blanket. We need some slideability. Notice, how's your body resting on the floor? Is it listing to one side? How about the back of your knees? Does they have the even space behind them? Does your feet rest evenly? And you may not be able to sense where there are any space. You can just look up and see. Does one foot relax more forward than the other? Do they roll out evenly to the sides? And then with this information, let's go ahead and bend up the knees and place the hands on the low belly. Diaphragmatic breathing, belly breath. Breathing in and out. And make this as easy as you can. Belly gently expands on the in-breath and relaxes down towards the floor on the out-breath. Remind yourselves always when we are doing the somatic work, we want to make it as easy as we can, letting go of strain. And if we encounter pain, back off, back off, back off, so that we are not teaching our body to move with pain. Because this is as much about educating the motor cortex to facilitate fluidity of movement as it is to doing the exercises. So the slower we move and the pauses facilitates that. Now on the next inhalation, begin to arch gently, gentle arch. So feel the low back contracting. And as you exhale, slowly releasing back to neutral. Take a full breath in and out, one set neutral. And we'll repeat. On an in-breath, contract the low back, rolling towards the tailbone, and slowly floating back. Floating back by releasing the contraction. So when a muscle is held in a permanently tight state, the body, the brain is seeing the contraction as neutral. So it holds that tension. And by contracting into the contraction, we help change that resting tone on the muscle, moving the bar down. No strap in sight, no forced stretching. We're letting the body doing its own release. And this way, it's much more permanent. It does take effort and it does take repetition. Let's do it one more time. It can be beneficial to practice with your eyes closed if that feels okay, facilitating an inner awareness. Once back at neutral, let everything cool here, just let everything relax. And then we're ready for the opposite. So I'm keeping one hand on my lower abdomen. We'll take a breath in for nothing, a belly breath. And as I exhale, I'm going to hollow out the belly. And my low back will be pressing into the floor. But it is the action of my spine, my core muscles contracting. And then letting go of that. Let's take a buffer breath again. A breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, hollow out the belly. Letting that be the action that invites the lengthening of the low back. So a gentle flexion of the low back, slowly release back to neutral. So with the hand on your abdomen, you can actually feel the belly button pulling down and upward. Let's do it one more time. So a breath in for nothing. And on the out breath, again, hollow out the belly. And releasing. Now letting that go. Letting that go. We're going to flex the ankles. So lift the front of the feet. And slowly release that. So dorsal flexion. Don't worry, there won't be a test. We'll do the opposite. Lift the heels. You'll feel the calves contracting. So just the heels. And slowly release that. When we did it standing, that is mainly the gastroc, the outer calf. When we do it with our knees bent, we get the one underneath. Let's do the dorsal flexion again. Lifting the front of the feet. And feels how that invites for a flattening of the low back. So we slowly release the feet. Letting them melt into the mat. And then lift the heels again. Lift, contract the calves. And notice how that invites for an arch in the low back. Slowly release the heels down again. So we'll combine now the flattening and the arching. We'll start with a breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, lift the front of the foot and hollow out the belly, flattening the low back. Front of the foot is lifting, so the heels are digging down. And then slowly release back to neutral. On the next in-breath, lift the heels. And then invite the arch. Low back lifts away, and the chin may be drawing slightly down towards the chest. Let it travel. Slowly release back to neutral. That may take more than one out-breath or in-breath. Wait for the out-breath, for the flattening, the lifting of the front of the feet. Flatten the low back, and here the chin may be jutting up a little bit towards the sky. So we are alternating between contracting the front seam and the back seam, the red light, the green light. Do it one more time. On an in-breath, invite for the arch. Slowly releasing. And as you exhale, do the opposite. And then once you're completed, gently and slowly slide the legs out and pause. Notice how the back of your legs are resting, how your feet. And we'll bend up the knees again. Now we're going to isolate the feet and working a lot with our ankle flexibility. And this is really our gait and foot health, feet health. We start in a very comfortable position to slide the right foot out, sliding it out until you can no longer keep the bottom of the foot flat on your mat. Then flex the ankle again, flexing the ankle, and then curl the toes under, curl the toes under. Slowly lower the bottom of the foot towards the floor. Slide the foot back in. Lift and spread the toes, just the toes. And then gently relax the toes down. Slide the foot out again. Feeling the texture of underneath the foot. Flex the ankle. Curl the toes under. And then slowly lower the bottom of the foot. Sliding it back in. Lift and spread the toes, keeping the toe mounts down. And then slowly relax the toes, let everything soften. This is really a fascinating movement of the toes. If you watch the baby, let's slide the foot out one more time. They start doing the spreading and the crunching of the toes really soon after birth, beginning to prepare for walking. Let's flex the ankle up and then do that toe crunching together, lowering the foot down. Slide the foot back in. Lift and spread the toes. Lift and spread the toes. This is your arch generator. And slowly relax the toes down. Now pausing before we start on the left. Toggle your awareness from the right foot to the left foot. And if you were to draw an outline of your right foot and your left foot right now, do they look the same? Does your brain see your feet the same? And this is where the slowness is so crucial, so that the sensory nerves have time to communicate with the motor cortex, and turn time to communicate with the motor nerves, so we complete this loop of full integration. Let's do our start on the left leg, sliding it out. Be awake to the sensation under your foot, awake to the sensation of flexing the ankle upward, curling the toes down, and then lower the whole foot down, sliding the foot back in. Lift and spread the toes, and then slowly relax the toes down. Repeating, sliding the foot out, flex the ankle, curl the toes down, and then slowly straightening the ankle out to bring the foot down. And if you're cramping here in the calf, you may be working too hard. Slide the foot in, so back up a little bit. Lift and spread the toes. Remember, we got 26 bones in each foot. Slowly release. Melting the toes towards the floor. 32 joints. It's our trampoline, but if our toes don't have the articulation anymore, we've lost part of the springiness. Now let's do it one more time. Sliding out. Flex the ankle. Curl the toes down. Let that be the initiator to lower the whole foot down. Slide the foot back. And lift and spread the toes. And slowly let them melt down. And then again, let go completely. Slide the legs out and pause. Pausing, sensing. Notice the sensations in your feet. And then let's slide our arms up, interlace the fingers behind the head. And then press out through the right heel. Press out through the right heel. Just the heel, nothing else. And then let that go. And we repeat. Press out through the right heel. And let it go. Press out through the right heel and invite the right hip to slide down with the heel. And let it go. Repeating at a pace that's comfortable for you. Heel slides down. The hip slides down. And then we let it go. Easy. Pain-free. Enjoyable. Do it one more time. I'm going to slide the right elbow back away from the foot. Slide and don't lift the head and come back. Keep the elbows wide. Returning back to center. So that's why the blankets are really beneficial, because on a sticky mat, we can get stuck, literally. You can, and don't need a mat. I'm on a hardwood floor in my studio, so that's why I put a mat down. But if you have a nice carpet for somatics, that works really well too. Letting your head turn as it wants to. Make it easy. And then next time you slide the right elbow back, press out through the right heel again and hip. So the whole right side now elongates. Make it easy, sliding. Maybe the head turns towards the right elbow, maybe it doesn't. Maybe it turns towards the left. Let whatever innate or natural movement wants to participate, let that happen. So that there's no bracing or fighting a movement, just invitation for fluidity and ease. Do it one more time. And as you come back to center, relax the arms out to the sides. Pause. And investigate as you toggle your mind from left to right, right to left. How does your mind, how does the motor cortex see your body if you were to chalk outline it? And it can be challenging to put words on it. So sensing, feeling, what is different? Let's interlace the fingers again. And we'll start with the left heel, pressing out just the heel. So this is our back seam. Inhale, pressing out through the heel, make it easy. And then gently begin to invite the left hip to participate. Sliding down, but not in a forceful way, not in a hurried way, it's in a lazy, easy, enjoyable, and curious way. Is this the easy side, or is this the more challenging side? Notice if this side feels different in some way. If you notice a big difference in any of these movements that we do and want to add it to your home practice, always start on the easy side and let that tutor the side that needs a little rehabilitation. Now let's begin to slide the left elbow back. Sliding it back, return to neutral. Keeping the elbows down and wide. Head is resting in the palms. Maybe the head turns, maybe it doesn't. Just notice if there's any bracing, holding, restricting. And let the gentle, repetitive movement feather it out. We begin to invite the left heel and hip in the opposite direction. Easy. Like a little side sliding polywog. Right heel, right elbow lengthens away from one another while the right side shortens. Let's do it one more time. And again, relax the arms, relax everything. Again, right side, right side. What touches? Be aware. Be awake. You're going to roll over onto the right side. Bend out the knees and come onto your right side. And as you come onto your side body, you can use your arm to support your head. That can be straight arm, that can be a bent elbow. You can also use a blanket or pillow. Just make sure that your neck is well supported. So for our side curl, bending the knees up so you're in a 90 degree, as if you're sitting in a very straight back chair. So 90 degrees at the hips, 90 degrees behind the knees. And making sure that you're looking straight ahead, so not curling down. If you're looking down at your thighs, let's get the spine unfurled. Take your hand to your outer left hip. I'm going to let this one, make sure that we're actually doing the muscles we think we're doing. I said hip. I meant the waist. Silly me. I know you all thinking I meant the waist. The internal obliques is what we really want to talk with here. So take a breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, you're going to lift the left heel like a door swinging open. Knee stays together. And the muscles you're using right at the waist. Slowly release. Foot down. Let's take a buffer breath in. Take a breath in for nothing and exhale. As the heel draws up, are the muscles and the waist engaging? Slowly release. Are they releasing? How does the foot travel up? How does it travel down? All these levers and pulleys. Let's do it one more time. Breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, contract the waist to let the foot draw up like a door swinging open. Keep the 90 degree behind your knees. If we are pulling the foot in, we may begin to use the hamstring to do the job instead. So this 90 degree is really crucial. Then we'll take the left arm up around the head, putting on the headband. And if that's not available, take the hand maybe around to the other side. We want to make sure that we're supporting the weight of the head. We're now going to ask the external obliques to go to work. So that's right by the side ribs. We'll take a breath in again for nothing. As you exhale, contract, pull the ribs together. Pull the ribs together, and this lift the head up. And slowly lower down. So not lifting with the neck muscles, not pulling with the arm. Let the muscles engage. If you're not sure that's happening, you can take your left hand and place it on your sideways. We're not going to go very high. We'll take a breath in again for nothing. And as you exhale, before the head even comes up, can you begin to feel these muscles contracting? And as they pull together, it begins to lift the head a little bit more. And then we release. It's like closing your gills and then opening your gills again, facilitating spaciousness and mobility on the side. Let's do that one more time. Take a breath in as you exhale, contract. Coming all the way up as high as is comfortable. And then slowly release down. Keep the muscles of the neck really relaxed. Notice if they begin to fire, meaning you're trying to do the movement with not the intended and the hired employees for the job. That never goes well. Let's put these two together, heel and head. Take a breath in for nothing. And exhale, contract the whole sideways. And slowly release down. So it's not about lifting super high. It is just about getting that contraction in. So the obliques do two things. They rotate and they also work on contraction. The lateral flexion. Let everything pull. And one more time. Breath in for nothing. And exhale. Contract. Pull the ribs towards the hips. Hips towards the ribs. And slowly, slowly, slowly. Releasing down. Now let's take the left leg out in front. Straight out. The iliotibia, the whole outer seam. Now we're going to take the hand on the outer hip. Pull the hip back, pulling the hips back. So maybe even feel like you have a little bit of a lower back arch, just a wee bit one. Reaching out through the left heel. We'll take a breath in and lift the left leg, no more than a foot, but it might be 3 inches. Can you feel the outer hip contracting? And then slowly, let's count it down from 8, 7, 6. You can go fast if you want to. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. This is hard. Take a full breath in and out. And we'll do it again. Lifting on an in-breath. Using the outer hip. For some reason, my right hip really wants to help out on this one. So I have to say nay, nay. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Everything pulls. Everything pulls. Take your hand behind the head, your left hand behind the head, and we're going to slowly begin to release the left shoulder towards the floor. We'll take the right arm out in front. And so now the head rests in the left hand. And if this is uncomfortable for your shoulders, I'm looking at you, Meg, it looks like it's okay. Always take care of yourself. Don't try to force yourself into a pose. If this keeping your left leg straight is not your happy place, just go ahead and bend it up again. It's okay. It's okay. Let's take a breath in and arch the low back. And now exhale as a side curl as we return to facing forward. And we'll add the upper body side curl here. So we combine two movements with derotating and side bending. Slowly release all the way back out. Nose to the skies. Let's take a breath in and out. Buffer breath. Inhale a little arch, not a big one. And then exhale a sense of flattening to help derotate. Back, nose pointing in the same direction as the belly button. And we're going to side curl. And slowly easing back out again. And in this movement, we take the obliques through the rotational aspect in particular about getting enough lift of the head that we actually can turn. So you take one more buffer breath here. And when you're ready, breath in for nothing and exhaling, derotate. Back at center. Slowly releasing back out. Head comes down very slowly. And from here, we're just going to slowly travel onto our back. Scoot, scoot. And then left side, right side. So how flat we lay indicates the muscles are relaxing. If the muscles are really tight, we begin to levitate ourselves off the mat. So the more relaxed, the lower the resting tone is, the flatter we're going to lay. We should repeat this on the other side. So rolling over onto your left side, I'll spin about. And we start it with the hand on the waist. So again, just check, are you 90-90? 90 at the hips, 90 behind the knees. So you're sitting in a very upright chair. We'll take a breath in for nothing. And as you exhale, you contract to swing the door open. If you're feeling it in the hamstrings, make sure that you're not pulling the heel towards the tush, the one we just started with today. And slowly, 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 lower down. Take a breath in and out. Buffer breath in. And exhale, contract, waist, so that the right hip pulls up towards the ribs. Slowly, releasing down, lengthening back out. Buffer breath again. Breath in for nothing and initiate again on the out breath. Knees stay together. And slowly, slowly, let the muscle lengthen back out. And now, let's put the headband on. So working on the gills, side chest, the obliques, and also the intercostals. Not the intercostals, the muscles between the rib cage, they can get super tight too. We'll take a breath in for nothing and exhale. Now the ribs are moving down towards the hips. Hips are passive. And then slowly lower down. Buffer breath. And repeat. Letting go. Slowly, slowly. One more time. On the out breath. Sensing. Side chest contracting. Pulls me up. And lengthening back out. And let's put the two together. Buffer breath. Rest when you need to. Breath in for nothing. And when you're ready, heel and head. Lowering down. Lengthening out. Buffer breath. And repeat. Last one. How does this side feel different from the first side? Is it easier? Is it harder? Remember to bring balance, paying attention, and then continue to work on it. Stick the arm down, and now we'll take the leg out, straight out. But keeping the spine straight. The iliotibia band goes from the pelvis down below the knee. So that pulls on the knee, often unevenly. Draw the hips back and place your hands on your outer hip. Not a big muscle. So therefore, often really overworked or not engaged at all. When you're ready, on an inhalation, lift the leg. 6, 10, maybe a foot. And let's count it down from 8. Of course, again, you can go faster. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Letting go. Letting go. Everything pulls. And again, on an in-breath, using your IT band, tensor fascia lacta, little dude, not your jaw. And 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and down. Let's take the right hand behind the head now. And begin to roll onto the back. We'll take the left arm out. So we are in the twist. Right leg can stay straight. It can bend up again. It's whatever feels best for your body. Let's take a breath in for nothing. As you exhale, contract, derotate, back at center. And slowly back out again. Rotating, relaxing into the rotation. Buffer breath. Now let's add the arch. Inhale, a side arch. Exhale, lateral flattening to help us derotate. Back, head is held in the palm of your hand. So again, all of this is initiated from the trunk. And slowly releasing back out again. Buffer breath. One more time on the inhale, arch. Exhaling, contract to derotate. And releasing out long. All the way onto the back. This really is a teaser because we're going to come onto our belly now. So I invite you to, with as little effort as possible, come onto the belly. We'll take one hand on top of the other. Let the forehead come onto the back of the hands. Tuck the toes under and creep the toes to the nose. They're not going to go very far. I know. On the in-breath, press the heels back, press the hips down, and then lift the head, lift the heart. Draw the belly button upward, forward, forward, forward. And slowly release down. Relax the feet. Relax everything. And we're going to do that one more time. Tuck the toes under. Press the heels back. And then lift the head, lift the heart. Lengthen the front body. Stretch the belly button up towards the heart. And release down. And now just let your head turn either side. You might want to take one arm down or both arms down. Just relax completely here, just for a moment. Relax, let go. One more breath. We'll take the arms, the hands under the shoulders. And we're going to push back to child's pose. Maybe with the toes tucked, maybe with the toes down. It is whatever feels good for you. And we've done it again. So instead of not taking you into standing right now, I'll do that after we close with Om. And then I will turn off the recording too and await your feedback. So let's bring our palms together. I invite you to join me as we chant Om, aligning our energies. So even though that we are not practicing in the same space, we are practicing together energetically. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you. And namaste.